moving this we're moving this forward that we talk about these webinars that we host like this. So today we'll be talking about getting hired as an IT support personnel in 2026. We'll be discussing the skills that are needed to get hired, which I'll be talking about how to position yourselves, um, types of projects you can do to get yourself hired, projects you can put down on your CV, skills that are important that give you that edge in the industry. As we all know, in order to excel in this career, you need to have something different. You can't be like everybody else and then you expect that you get that employment. It's not going to happen. So we're going to be talking about things like that. And in our community, we can boast that we have tons of individuals that have testified to this call. So I would encourage you and get your Bible, get your books, get your jotters down. We're going to be having a great time. Yeah. All right. So we'll be discussing first of all the what do we mean by IT support exactly, and do you fall into that line of being an IT support person? So I'll start by defining what it is exactly. When we say IT support, if you find yourself basically in any capacity that supports the technology or software, you are essentially a support personnel or a tech support or an IT support. If you are supporting digital, it could be a digital software, it could be a physical infrastructure, whatever the case may be. For 90% of the time, you are not developing, you are not deploying, you are not shipping, you are basically supporting, and it comes in different capacities. So you can start from the most basic, that's the help desk and all that, then you move up to security, cyber security support, move on to root cause analysis support, and then the likes. It's quite broad, but essentially find yourself in that environment where you're having to, render some form of support services. You are a an IT support officer, and it's important now and this because we find ourselves, companies looking for people who can reduce uptime, reduce downtime for them, increase revenue loss, and all that. And most of the time, the company needs miracle workers. Let's put it like that. And being an IT support person, you have, like I said, it's quite broad. But we have different aspects of the IT support career, but we find companies wanting to put on different caps for us. Let me put it that way. It might be an help desk person, and then there you see a job role, and then you are required to understand how to network. You are expected to understand how to be a personal assistant. You are expected to understand how to fix extension, power cables and all that. You're expected to understand how to fix refrigerators and all that. So it's quite broad, and I would say the first thing I would say is understand your niche first of all. understand your niche. If you are just entering this career, I would say to write down the things that you like doing as a support person, first of all. What that does is it streamlines the career you are heading to in this line. For example, you like, let's say, using Microsoft 365 now. You're not really a hands-on person, you're not really a hardware person. At that point in time, you can term yourself a 365 engineer. You are still a support engineer, but you have chosen that niche for yourself. And that helps you understand the direction you are going when you are trying to learn things in this career. If you are just going to be broad and you are trying to grasp everything at once, and you're not going to make it past, you're not going to go very far. But if you're just starting in this career, I would advise that you write down the things you like, first of all, or you are comfortable doing, and then you can go online and search where this leads you to. So what that does is it gives you a direction, it gives you a path. It could be as simple as, oh, I love playing with the internet. I love playing with networks. I love playing with DHCPs. I love playing with IPs and all that. It gives you a direction. Then it gives you the options you have in this career. So that's what I'll say if you're trying to pick a career for that. Okay. Recently I got questioned about whether or not I believe certifications are important in this line of work. And I would say not all the time, because these days I see recruiters coming to ask me whether or not individuals have completed some form of projects and all that. So people look more to the amount of hands-on work you have done before looking to your certifications. And that's something you don't see nowadays when you submit your CVs. I always encourage people to write down projects that they have done in their CV. Don't limit it to, oh, I've worked in XYZ. These are the things I've done in XYZ. You can always put down on your CVs that, oh, these are the amount of projects you've done. When individuals are just leaving university or they're just starting in this line, I say try as much as possible to experiment. Try as much as possible to experiment. If there are physical things that you have, if you're a hands-on person physically, and you deal with physical equipment and all that, write those things down. You can have pictures, you have videos, put it down as to a portfolio. I know probably you haven't heard about IT individuals having portfolios like our brothers in the design world. But yeah, people have portfolios also, and I always encourage you to do that. We have pictures of projects you've done. We have videos also included in that portfolio. What that does it gives you an edge over the market, and then you see that when you apply on existing vacancies and all that, you at the very least you get selected. But they see that you are doing something different, so they want to know more about what you are about. So they encourage you. You are invited for the interviews. Yes, yes, yes. So I've made a couple of points now, and I believe as we continue, we can do justice on more of them. So if you have questions, we'll be including a link down below, or we shall be having it in the chat box, so you can go ahead and ask your questions, and then we'll be receiving them and then asking them all through the session. Like I said, this is going to be the first part of the session, and we shall be having the next one coming up next week. and Terian is going to be speaking on that. But right now, we'll be having um, Stefan join us on this call. He is an IT manager from. Can you go back a bit? Yeah, back please. Can you go to the last layer? Yeah, he's an IT manager from Mauritius Mocha. I just wanted everybody to see that. So you can go to the next slide. He has an experienced IT executive with over 20 years in the industry. He has handled management roles within multiple organizations. He has led diverse geographical and distributed teams, including complex IT operations with various transformative initiatives. And he's consistently aligning technology solutions with organizational goals. So we're going to be having an amazing session from Stefan, and then after which we're going to be having a conversation to this effect, and then I'll be taking questions also. Um, yeah, I'll be taking questions also to that. So, Stefan, I'll be leaving the floor for you now.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for having me for this session. So good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. So everywhere you're in the world. So I'm I'm Stefan Couron. So I'm based in Mauritius, and I'm currently evolving since the past 8 years as IT manager, and I have got the opportunity to evolve in different industries, in different organization culture from different countries as well. So my experience made me quite exposed to different types of industries, organizations, and uh, as well team structure, huh? Right? And like Teju rightly mentioned during his introduction, so IT is a polyvalent role in every organization. So IT is quite a vast term, quite a generic term, which tend to spread across IT support, spread across system administration, spread across IT security, and sometimes even facilities and administration. So it depends on the organization size, on the different function that needs to be had, and the resources available within the organization. Huh? But one constant also is that IT is always on a tight budget. So one IT officer, one IT manager, an IT team leader needs to be able to be polyvalent. So that's a constant. So if you're considering a shift into IT, if you're considering uh, uh, taking up a role into IT, so you need to be prepared for this reality that IT needs to be polyvalent. And IT is always on a tight budget, so we always need to motivate. We always need to show the value of technology into an organization. So, diving into today's topic. So, also bear in mind that the hiring process. I think Tyrion will maybe go through this topic much deeper than I will. But during the hiring process, it starts at the moment that you make your application. Huh? So at the very moment that you're sending out your CV, you're sending out your application motivation letter to the hiring manager, to the HR manager. So you have already started the hiring process. Huh? and your determination, your motivation you put into the application process can be felt. It can be felt by the hiring manager. It can be felt by the HR manager. Uh, so always stay aligned to the closest possible to the roles and responsibilities that are described into the job description. So always into your application, your motivation letter, and your CV, show how well you align to the job description. So what I always recommend to do is writing out the job description on a piece of paper, so that you can absorb them, and then leave a line, and then write how well you align, how well you align to those different statements into the job description, which will build your motivation email, your motivation letter. And it is always a good practice to have uh, this process done for every application that you do. So hiring managers, recruiters, HR managers don't like generic motivation letters. So they want to feel the determination, the motivation of a candidate when applying for a position. So when you will now reach the interview stage, uh, uh, you will be, of course, screened. You will be, challenged, being asked question. And an interview session is simply a data collection. It is a qualitative data collection exercise that the hiring team, composed of hiring manager, the recruiter, the HR manager, we'll try to see how well you are aligned to the roles and responsibilities that we described. So if you have well done your application, it is already a good start into the hiring process. So now the objective is to land a job offer. And to do this, you'll have to motivate your case to the hiring panel, and let them know how good you are aligned to the job description. And I think for those who already went through some interviews already, so you can maybe remember some questions that come in each and every interview that you do. So tell us about yourself. So tell us about yourself is a simple question, which is quite vague, and which I think is one of the most important questions, because it is generally one of the first questions where you need to sell yourself. You need to sell your skills, your competence, your know-how, your knowledge. So you need into those 2-3 minutes that you're given the floor to tell the hiring team about yourself, to re-emphasize your motivation letter. Of course, not paraphrase it, but re-emphasize your motivation letter, and tell the recruiting team that you are the best candidate for this position. And always stay grounded into the roles and responsibilities, and demonstrate your alignment to them. And if you have certifications into those roles, so just state them. Let the hiring team know that you are a qualified, a competent professional aspiring to take up their position. So, of course, I'm speaking on my personal experience. It is important to highlight that each hiring manager, each hiring team, each organization may have their personal approach. So they might approach the hiring process, their expectations based on their company culture, based on their reality, based on the challenges that they want to fix by hiring an IT personnel and IT officer within the organization. So the interview session itself, like I've mentioned before, which is simply a data collection exercise where the hiring team wants to know how well you fit to their expectations. So what are those expectations now? So uh, again, speaking only for my personal experience, the expectations that the hiring team wants to know is what is the expected level of performance what we can perceive during this interview session. So how confident are us into the capabilities of the candidate, of the aspiring new hire to fill up the roles and responsibilities that the hiring team are looking for. So in the case of an IT role, the first thing, the core subject that the hiring team will want to know, expect to know, is the delivery capabilities. So on a day-to-day basis, how well this new hire will be able to fill up the required pipeline. So in every organization, depending on the size of the organization, depending on the maturity of the IT function of the organization. So IT issues, IT projects, IT governance works, or day-to-day jobs what needs to be delivered by the IT team. So what the hiring team wants to know when they are interviewing for an IT professional. So they want to know what are the delivery capabilities of this candidate with regards to of course, their technology stack. So, for example, in terms of technology stack, so Microsoft 365, Office 365 is part of every organization now. So do expect questions into to test your knowledge, to challenge your knowledge, your experience, your skills with regards to 365, Office 365. And of course, IT professionals are now needed to be comfortable to at least have a basic knowledge of network, of systems administration, of cybersecurity as well. So you will need to be able to show the hiring team that you have a reliable and a quality delivery capabilities on the technology stack that they use. So, how will you know what is the technology stack what the organization use? It should be into the job description. So for myself speaking, every time that I open a position, I will list, of course, into phrases, what are the technologies what we are looking for competencies on. So of course, we will look for someone who is reliable and someone who can show during the interview session that they do have reliable delivery capabilities on the technology stack in use in the organization, in use by the operations. And this is I believe the main subject, the main topic which the hiring team is collecting data from the different candidates. And of course, each candidate will be all benchmarked after the interview, and there is a form of ranking, a form of rating, which is done to look for the best candidate. So uh, during your tell us about yourself, it is also a good thing to state how well how reliable you can be into delivering on the day to day, on the technology stack that the organization is looking for an IT officer. Huh? Uh, so uh, that's one very important thing. So the delivery capabilities. A second important thing that the hiring team wants to know during an interview session. And of course, you should be expecting questions and preparing your responses with regards to is how well the candidates have a good and acceptable readiness level with regards to IT governance, right? So now in 2026, IT teams are no longer expected to be functioning in firefighting mode. So we need to be more strategic. We need to be more organized, and this is where an IT governance framework becomes useful for an IT team. So an IT team needs to be able to demonstrate their value to management on a day-to-day basis, showing how we are supporting the business, showing how we are enabling further capabilities for the business, and also showing how well we are protecting the business from cyber threats, from attacks from hackers. Just a side word about cyber threats. So I work into the insurance industry, and cyber threats is the top number one risk for every organization across the world. Not only in Mauritius, not only in Africa, not only in Europe. So everywhere in the world now, cyber threats is the top number one risk. So IT departments are generally entrusted with the cybersecurity function. So even if that may go out of scope of a typical IT function. So IT teams now needs to be able to drive cybersecurity roadmap, cybersecurity strategy as well. So going back to the IT governance, which is an umbrella term which covers different aspects of an IT team. So we also need to know how well the candidate have a readiness, have a willingness to work into an IT governance framework, and not only stay into a day-to-day firefighting mode, just resolving issues without a clear direction, without a clear plan. So we need to know how well the candidate is aligned to IT governance framework. So maybe some popular frameworks that can be helpful for you when going on interviews, or the most popular one is ITIL, ITIL, which stands for IT Information Library. So it gives strategies, it gives a workbook, a guide to IT teams about how to manage incidents. So incidents are all those day-to-day issues that you'll need to be able to manage as an IT professional. So ITIL gives you the foundation to be able to manage IT incidents in a methodical, in a systemical manner. There are also much topics that falls under IT governance. So IT teams needs also to be able to manage the IT assets in a methodical way. So at any point in time, if your finance team, your CFO is asking you about for example the list of computers that is coming to end of life for this year. So you need to have that information ready to be able to channel to the finance team, to the CFO within the next business day or so. Huh? But if you don't have an IT governance framework in place, and you will now go and do a quick inventory, look for the information. So this is where most IT professional struggle with. So having a disciplined approach to IT governance. Huh? And of course, IT professionals now needs to I believe to have a minimum of financial literacy. Uh, I don't mean that IT professional needs to be able to do a full P&L, a full balance sheet, but IT professional needs to be able, for example, to budget for their spending for the next financial year. So this budget is where you will get projects from. This budget is where you will get money to hire more people. This budget is where you will have money to go on training, to train your teams. So this is where I believe as well IT professional needs to be able to have a minimum of financial literacy, understand the difference between capex and opex, and understand their impact onto an organization financial metrics as well. Huh? So just a quick recap. So the first thing that I look for is the delivery capabilities, of course, which I described a bit earlier. And the second thing is the governance, the IT governance readiness of a candidate. So how well this candidate will be able to evolve into a framework, will be able to respect the deadlines that are tied to this framework, will be able to work in a methodical and systemic manner, in contrast to day-to-day firefighting. So, but day-to-day firefighting, you can't escape it. You'll have to do it, but you'll have to do it in a methodical, in a systemic manner, just to be able to show the management of the organization that the IT team is bringing value into the organization. The IT team has some solid foundations on which the business can build. Huh? So I'll move to maybe the last part of my discussion now. So the core skills, the core responsibilities that was discussed is, I believe, in 2026, the minimum basic that an IT professional needs to be able to have in order to be successful into an organization. And what will differentiate a candidate? Normally, during the interview session, you will maybe have one or two questions asking you about how well you know the organization with whom you are interviewing. So, of course, the hiring panel wants to know if you did your homework, if you did some some minimum research, if you showed some interest into the organization before coming to an interview, which of course adds bonus points to your application when you show interest, you show the hiring team that you have done your homework. But above all, at least for me, what I'm looking for, I'm trying to understand what is the business acumen of a candidate. So, how well the candidate understands the impact of an IT team within an organization, how well the candidate understands the budget decision that they will make onto the capex and the opex of the organization. And I also want to know if the candidate knows, for example, the different roles that or required into the organization. By different roles, I mean the business roles, the revenue generating roles. So, for example, in an insurance organization, the underwriters or the guys who bring money into the organization. So the underwriters needs to be fully operational during their business hours. So an underwriter who is not operational due to a technical issue with his laptop during business hours is a certain amount of money that he is not bringing into the organization. So what I want to know if the candidate understands the different roles into the organization, just for them to be able to prioritize. Huh? So, for example, you have two different issues with two different users. One, in my case, into an insurance industry. So, in my case, one is an underwriter, and the other one is an HR officer. So, of course, if I'm alone, I will prioritize the underwriter. Of course, I will attend the issue of the HR officer, but the underwriter has priority because an underwriter job brings directly money into the organization, and every hour of downtime for the underwriter is money that he's not bringing into the organization. So what I want to know during the interview is the candidate aware of the different roles in order for him, when he'll be on the job, know how to prioritize those kind of double issues coming at the same time, and how well you will manage this conflicting situation. So this is an important thing what I look into a candidate, and which of course differentiate two candidates from each other. Huh? And now a trend that is taking more and more depth is IT is no longer a standalone department with all the things happening around digital transformation, around digital enablement, artificial intelligence. So IT role is becoming more systemic to an organization. We are now moving more from a day-to-day support function, a day-to-day support team, towards an enabler position. So an IT team needs to be able to find challenges that are being faced by the team, by the teams, and need to be able to suggest solutions, IT solutions, of course, which resolves challenges being faced by uh, uh, the organization. So a simple example can be the usage of Power Automate to go into a shared mailbox, fetch all the request for codes, request for proposals that customers or prospects have been sending out to, for example, sales at xyz.com, and which traditionally a team member need to go into that mailbox and channel those requests for quotes, requests for proposal towards the sales team, the business development team. So now with Power Automate, we are able to create these kind of automations which goes into this mailbox and channels automatically those requests for quotes, those requests for proposals towards the sales teams, the business development teams. So, for example, by doing this, you're helping your organization to make money, to bring money into the business. And with the use of automation, it's no longer a human doing it, so it's no longer a salary which needs to be paid to a person doing it. It's a license that you need to pay, of course, but it still brings value to the business in the sense that you're able to help the organization bring money. So, of course, this is one important thing. So I need to know if the candidate is able to bring in that level of thinking, is able to bring in that level of solution finding. So be able to identify a business problem and bringing a technology solution to this business problem. So in 2026, IT team members need to be able to step up to that level and become enablers to the business. And of course, what is really important is how well the candidate will be able to contribute to the AI strategy. Huh? So AI strategy is now part of every organization. So now every organization, if it's not the case, should be already working on their AI strategy, should be already working on how they are going to leverage Copilot, ChatGPT, in order to streamline their operational frameworks, in order to enable business development capabilities. And I need to know if this candidate is able to bring in that level of business acumen, IT enablement within the organization. And one last thing before I leave the floor back to Joe is technology is an constant evolving industry. Yeah? So today you can be an expert into a technology, and in 2 years' time, that technology has faded out, another technology has replaced it, and your competitive edge, your competitive value has gone with that technology. So IT team needs to be continuously improving, continuously learning, and having always a good grasp on every new technology coming into the industry. So during the interview session, I want to know how well this prospective candidate is able to show willingness for continuous improvement, is able to show willingness for continuous learning, and of course, this is another criteria which differentiates a good candidate from a very good candidate. So I think I'm done. Thank you for your attention. I leave the floor back to you now.
All right. Thank you so much, Stefan, for the session. I personally took a lot from the session, and we have a couple of questions to answer from a lot of individuals that are asking regarding lots of things we've spoken about. But before we go to that, I just wanted to list out a few points you mentioned and that I also want to add to it. So basically, we are hearing a lot about, have this skill, have that skill. You have to understand this, you have to understand that. I mean, it's a lot. And if you don't have a direction, you wouldn't know what to learn, how to learn, what exactly am I learning? It's all over the place. So I would say this list of things I wrote down here to make it easier for us. So number one, we want to have basic problem solving skills as an IT person. You want to know how to approach issues with, let me just say, common sense, as it relates to our career.
Yeah.
We want to approach issues, not making things overly complicated. When you are faced with, immediate issues like, oh, we need to get this done now, and then somebody else brings something to your table and say, we need to get this done now. So what do you do at that point in time? Approach issues simplicity, and prioritize issues no matter what. Because at the end of the day, you will be asked, why didn't you prioritize? Nobody will tell you, oh, there are 5 issues on your table. This is what you should do with the 5 issues. You yourself, you have to decide how to go about resolving those issues, and that will come by you prioritizing those issues. Number two, you need to have proper security awareness. And in this day and age, we are getting a lot of we're getting a lot of hacks. You might think I work in an organization and we are just a very small organization and we don't do much. So therefore I wouldn't be that security compliant. By the end of the day, something happens and then you get shocked. So let's not wait for situations to happen to us. Let's prepare for those situations. So let us be more security aware. So number one, you want to work on your problem solving mindset. Number two, you want to be more security aware. There are various ways to do this. There are various tools anyway to do this. You are on 365, you have MFA, there are lots of sessions out there for you to use to this effect. Next, you want to work on your cloud and remote support. And this, in this day and age, 2026, support is moving from your norm. Let me just put it like that. We are moving from your normal day-to-day, help me switch on my computer, to we are moving to pushing policies and all that. And if you're after international jobs out there, because they do exist, I had a conversation with a recruiter last week, and then she was telling me how they had about, I think, 300 roles, 300, and then she was assigned, I think, 20 to give out to individuals. And then the issue was that the marketplace was saturated with basic support individuals that had basic skills. They didn't have, things to set them apart. So you want to work on your cloud and support tools, whatever the case may be, you want to work on your cloud and support tools. I think I have a few here, but I'll get to that shortly. Next, you want to work on your AI and automation. So I get questions on what AI we use, how does AI relate to IT support, what are we doing? And there are various softwares out there. We have N8N automation, we have ChatGPT, we have I think yeah, we have Google Script, we have Pipe Dream, we have Zapier. Zapier is my favorite. So there are different tools we can use in automating not necessarily repetitive tasks, because I see that a lot of people say we need tools to help us reduce tasks that we repeat. So not it could not necessarily be tasks that you are repeating. Um, it could just be um, solutions that you just provide in your organization. For example, now you could probably, if you have 365 in your office and you are not much or you are much, you could do an intra website. And that's something your organization, only your organization has access to simplify writing down tasks, so it will reduce the amount of people that come to your desk. And I say this because I get people who work in little organizations that come talking about it. They say, is there any need to automate tasks? Is there any need to create ticketing systems? These things don't just help your organizations, they help you as an individual. They help you understand how this thing works. Because if you limit yourself to where you are currently and say, oh, these skills that I have now, I don't see a reason why I should get them because where I am, they don't need. What happens is that when opportunities present themselves for bigger opportunities, it will be hard for you to transition by any stroke of luck. If you get the job, you find it difficult to manage yourself in that environment. So as much as possible, if you find yourself in a position, you have access to materials, or you have access to tools for free. Use the opportunity, use them, and then you know learn, upgrade yourself. So automation and AI tools, I'll say use them. Zapier is my favorite. I am very partial to Zapier. You can check it up online. You can use N8N automation. You can use things as little as Google scripting. While I was learning, while I was just starting my support career, I told myself I didn't want to do anything coding. I did not want to code at all. But here we are writing PowerShell scripts and all that. So, it's still part and parcel of us. So that's something you want to learn. So like I say, number one, you want to work on your problem solving skills. And I think Stefan did justice to that point. Number two, you want to work on your security awareness. You want to lose guard. You want to work on your cloud and remote support. You want to work on your automation and AI skills. And then you want to work on your mobile development management. That's your MDM skills. You can also experiment in this area with virtual machines. If you are looking to make your skills more international, you want to sharpen them internationally, work on your MDM skills. How to push policies from where you are to systems thousands of miles away from you. You want to work on your MDM skills. For MacBook, you can use JAMP, JMF. I think you can use Intune for Windows tools, and Jump Cloud also is something that you can search on. So these are softwares you can use, and there are free trials of these items, of these softwares. If you don't want to use the paid version, there are free items you can use to test your skills and use them in sandbox environments. So they sharpen your skills internationally. So these are, I think I mentioned 6 things. Yeah, these are 6 things that you can work on this year that will give you an edge. And then to top things off, I keep preaching this thing, work on projects, experiment, experiment, experiment. You can even start from just your system itself, just writing basic uh, PowerShell scripts to check logs on the system, disable the internet, disable networks, scan networks, connect two virtual machines together, look how they interact. So these things help you uh, get used to the system. They help you sharpen your skill. If you have questions concerning any of these things I've mentioned, they want to go over them again, you can send a message down in the link, and then I'll be happy to respond to them. So I just have one or two questions. I will be able to take most of them or all of them now, but we'll take a couple and then we'll discuss them, and then let's see where that takes us. Okay, so this first one goes like this, and I believe this question, Stefan will answer this one. It says, is it possible to work remotely for international companies as an IT help desk or support personnel? I'll take it again. Is it possible to work remotely for international companies as an IT help desk or support personnel?
No, thank you for the question. But I believe there's no one size fits all approach to every organization. So what I have been observing on the market is the work from home depends on the company culture itself, on the organizational culture itself. And if the organization have the need for an IT team member to have the flexibility to work from home, so this is the only condition that this is possible. So of course, during the pandemic, COVID-19, so it was the norm. So every organization was working from home. So this is where the work from home became mainstream for every organization. But what we witnessed just after the pandemic was a back to office culture where we work from home became useful only when the organization needed to have that level of flexibility. But else, the norm is quite a back to office with some kind of flexibility. For example, 1-2 days of work from home per week. But I would say that this is no longer a mainstream requirement for organization at the moment.
Okay, so that's very true. It definitely depends on the work culture of the organization, and I believe everybody just has a specification of what they need in their company. They could be looking for basic help desk personnel, and then you could be lucky and you get that job. But generally speaking, and then from what I see now from my end, is I think a couple of times there are some certain skill sets companies want you to have, as an IT support person working remote. I do come across these job roles now and then, but I hardly see organizations looking for um, basic um, basic support jobs. You know, basic support jobs that work remotely. I hardly see things like that, but physical jobs, basic IT support jobs, definitely I see them a lot. But in terms of remote jobs that require just basic skills, I hardly see them, except you are looking to work as probably a virtual assistant or a support assistant or something of that nature. But that's it. Um, Evidently, it just depends on the organization. Like Stefan said. So keep that in mind if you are looking for basic jobs might be difficult to see, but just add one or two more skills and put yourself out there. And like we mentioned earlier, language is something special. So leave that clear. The next question, I believe I'll take this one for Nigerians. He said, I've been on the labor market for foreign companies for quite some time, and I landed a couple of interviews. And he's talking about some expectations that they have 50 Mbps internet. I think Wi-Fi has been a prerequisite. So knowing the limited infrastructure we have in Nigeria, what are we to make of this? So basically, this question is talking about the demands, international jobs asked for from Nigerians in this support space and what we are to make of this. So I would answer this question in two parts. Number one, it depends on the kind of job that you are looking for. There are somebody say something. Okay, there are some jobs that require you have some certain level of internet connection, especially speed wise. If you are dealing with support jobs that require you um, have remote virtual remote sessions where you are pushing policies via probably some NPM software, where they just don't want you to have um, they don't want you to be in situations where you get stuck. I'll just put it as simple as that. For example, let's say you are probably onboarding a couple of clients and you're onboarding 50 clients from where you are. And then you have gotten your AUTH code from where you are already. You put in your softwares, and then what it takes now is just to ship it. And then you begin shipping, and then all of a sudden, I don't want to call any internet, any ISP, and network just goes off. And what happens there is different sorts of error might just come up, and it might affect the systems you are pushing the policies to, or it might affect your system. You don't know where the problem might come up from, and then in situations like that, before you know it, you are trying to fix problems that you would have avoided if you had better internet. So situations like that. And then secondly, the other part of it is sometimes it just depends on the type of job that you are, hunting for. Try to look for jobs more lightweighted. To me, look for jobs more lightweighted. Look for jobs that fall within your area, your sphere. Not all international remote jobs have this kind of requirements. Most of the time, I just see you have stable internet connection. They don't give you a standard. Sometimes they do give you a standard, but they do not hound on that standard. They just let you know that, oh, this is what we're looking for. You need to have XYZ speed. It's not that they say it is compulsory, we are going to check it and all that. So they just want you to, they don't want you to run into issues. And then sometimes, of course, they do check your internet speed. So like I said, two things, it depends on the type of job you are looking to get. Probably get something more lightweighted. And then secondly, they don't want you to end up with issues. So it all depends on you as the individual looking to get that job. Okay, so this question is for Stephen. Stephen, right? Yeah. Please, can you briefly explain the financial literacy you mentioned earlier?
No, no, that's a very good question, huh? Which I believe again differentiate a good candidate from a very good candidate. So I think you may be aware of. So every IT team runs on a budget. Every IT team needs to pay salaries, needs to buy hardware, needs to buy licenses, needs to train their team. And in order to be able to plan those expenditures during a financial year, so IT team at the end of a financial year generally needs to tell management about their expenditure that they are planning for the next financial year. And this is where the financial literacy becomes a very, very useful tool for an IT officer. Because of course, you are not expected to run the whole balance sheet of the organization, the whole P&L of the organization. That's not our role. But we need to be able to tell finance how much money they need to plan for the next financial year. So, and this is where budgeting skills for IT professional is necessary, is a basic skill, just as a core skill like mastering Office 365 now. So you need to be able to tell in a clear, concise, and predictable way in quarter one how much money you're going to spend, in quarter two how much money you're going to spend, and so forth until Q4. So that the business, the financial teams know, can predict the expenses that the IT team are going to do. So, for example, if you have planned for the implementation of an MDM in Q3, and you have not budgeted that expenditure when submitting your budget to your finance team. So your finance team can tell you, so why are you coming asking for money now? You've never told me what you'll need that amount of money to do this project, to run this project now. So wait for the next financial year and budget for it. So you have lost 2 quarters, 6 months into your project run, and you might put your organization at risk by not having this MDM. You might delay your strategy execution by not implementing this MDM implementation in time. So this is where planning for this expenditure before the next financial year is something that an IT team needs to be able to master. Of course, the finance team won't know what expenditure you will have. So they are not technology professionals. They won't know that you will need an MDM in Q3. You need to tell them that you will need an MDM in Q3. You will need to tell them how much it will cost per user so that they'll be able to mobilize that money for you to be able to spend in Q3. So this is one aspect of financial literacy. And the second aspect, of course, which will differentiate another very good candidate from another very, very good candidate, is how does those decisions impact onto the financial metrics of of an organization. So every organization have operational expenditures. So your expenditure is another expenditure of the organization, just as salaries, just like paying rent for the office, just like paying for any other facilities. So you need to be able, the proportion, the ratio of what is acceptable to your finance team and what is not acceptable to your finance team. Why it is important? Because when pushing for budget, you will already know if you will have pushback and what you need to prepare yourself if you will have pushback with regards to your budget by motivating better your business case. So this is where financial literacy becomes an important aspect for IT professionals.
For that response, Stefan, and I believe that just justice to that question. Someone else asked about Apex and OPEX. Um, Stefan just spoke about this in terms of financial literacy. Um, would you still want to, Stefan, would you still want to go on, probably shed more light on this because it's still on financial literacy?
Sorry, tell me again. I missed your question.
Yeah, he is asking about Apex and OPEX.
Okay. No, these are just financial terms. CapEx, which means a capital expenditure, and OPEX, which stands for an operational expenditure. It is different in the amortization of the expenditure. So for a capital expenditure, you will amortize the cost of that capital expenditure over 3, 5, 7 years, depending on again the organization and their financial structure. And for example, the capital expenditure is a server. So if you're going to buy a server, $10,000, so those $10,000 will be accounted for like a capital expenditure and will be amortized on, for example, 5 years, which make that server will cost the organization $2,000 per year. So this will be part of your budget for the next 5 years, which we will need to include 5 times $2,000 for year 1, year 2, year 3, and year 4 into your capex for IT. And operational expenditures are expenditures that are not amortized, but they are consumed on a monthly, year-to-year basis. For example, an example of an operational expenditure is the license fees that you pay for example, for Microsoft licenses, where you can pay on a yearly basis, and which contributes directly to which consolidates directly into the financial year that you're budgeting for.
All right. Thank you for that. So basically, it's still on financial literacy. So as we are a bit out of time and we won't be able to take any more questions on this session, like we said earlier in the call, we divided the session into two. This is the first one, and then we shall be having um, Kellyanne in the next session. Kellyanne is a recruiter, and then she'll be having more questions. We'll be having a more interactive session then. So I have a question for Stephen. It goes like this. Let's say we're in an interview session and then you are having a conversation with me. What are the direct pointers to you that that tells you you want to hire me? We're having a conversation, the interview is going on. What are the things that I say that would appeal to you? That you hear me say them and then you're like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing, this girl knows what she's doing, and then you're like, let's give him a try. So what are those things you look out for exactly? Yeah.
No, I know. I think that again that there's no one size fits all in terms of what we should be expecting from candidates, and because every one of us come from our different backgrounds, come with our from our different reality, and it might be quite difficult to generalize. But what I always do is to stay grounded into the role that I'm recruiting for, and try to ask the same question to all candidates and see how best the candidate can fit into the roles and responsibilities. What is the core skills, what we discussed earlier, the IT governance readiness, what we discussed earlier. So these are the basic what the candidate will be required to be able to demonstrate. And what I always look for as well is uh, how well the candidate will be able to fit in the company culture. So now we are into a phase where organization needs to hire high performers. So high performers needs to be able to show into their interview that they have above average delivery skills, above average governance skills, and everything that we discussed about business acumen and financial literacy, and how confident the candidate is able to show their relatedness to all those different dimensions that we mentioned.
All right, thank you so much for that. My key takeaway from that from your response there was basically do a research about the organization you are trying to join, because we can't generalize. You can't generalize your response. So you as an applicant do your research on the organization, and then when you are having conversations with them, when you're having interviews with them, always mention or do as much as possible to chip in things you've actually done. So they want to know that your skills are useful in their organization, basically. So if you haven't done anything to show that, there is no way the conversation will go in that line. So if it's a bank and you're supposed to be an IT officer in that bank, when the interview is going on, you mention things like, oh, you've done XYZ to users, stuff like that. So when you use languages like that, um, you get to stand out. So there's no one size fits all, um, but there is a rule basically, and that's it. I'll just be taking one more question then. This is to my community. It says, do we offer job connections? And the question is, yes, we do post opportunities here and there, and then we are still working on a couple of projects. We're working on a couple of projects. I'll just chip that in now, where you can actually directly get contact to companies, because we have been getting requests from organizations wanting to take talents from our community. So we are going to be collecting talents soon, and we're going to be pushing them. So yeah, um, we do offer opportunities, but right now, not direct. So stay tuned for that. So we've come to the end of this particular session. The next one will be coming up next week, and we're also going to be having someone experienced with remote work, such as Pop Work, will be coming up to also have a conversation with us concerning that, and then we shall and ask questions also regarding that. So thank you all once again for joining the call. This was put together by Torres Tech once again, and then yeah, I think someone has a question also. I think you can ask the question in the box and in the link, and then respond to you for them. Yeah. So thank you, Stefan, so much for your time, and then thank you once again to everyone that joined the call. I hope we were able to take down a lot of things, and I hope we'll be able to use them in our day-to-day activities, to better help us in our careers. And let's stay tuned to next week.
Thank you, Teju, for having me.
Yeah.
Nice evening, everyone.
All right, everyone. Yeah.
See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.